The city never truly sleeps, but my little corner of it usually does. Tonight, though, something fell off. The usual hum of distant traffic was replaced by a silence so profound it was almost deafening. I was just about to call it a night, scrolling through the usual junk on my phone, when a notification popped up. A new voice note. Strange. I don't use voice notes, and none of my friends do either. It was from an unknown number. Curiosity got the better of me. I tapped play. A whisper slithered out of my phone's speaker. A dry, raspy sound like dead leaves skittering across pavement. It was just one word. My name. The way it was spoken, drawn out and intimate, sent a chill down my spine that had nothing to do with the draft from the window. I replayed it. And again. It was definitely my name. My heart started thumping against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the oppressive silence. Probably a wrong number, I told myself, a prank. I deleted it, took a deep breath, and tried to forget about it. But the sound of that whisper lingered, an unwelcome guest in the quiet of my mind. The next day, life went on. I went to work, sat through meetings, and tried to shake off the unease from the night before. But as I walked home, the city lights seemed to blur, and every shadow seemed to stretch and twist into unnatural shapes. Back in my apartment, I locked the door, checked it twice. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming, a physical pressure on the back of my neck. I tried to distract myself with dinner and some mindless TV, but my eyes kept darting towards the windows, towards the dark corners of the room. Then my phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. Another voice note. My hand trembled as I pressed play. The voice was the same, that dry, chilling whisper. But now it was closer, clearer. It sounded like it was right next to my ear. I dropped my phone on the sofa as if it had burned me. My blood ran cold. I scrambled to the window, peering down at the empty street below. Nothing. I checked the peephole. The hallway was deserted. How could anyone see me? My apartment is on the 4th floor. I started to spiral. Was I losing my mind? Was this some elaborate, sick joke? I blocked the number, hoping that would be the end of it. But sleep didn't come easy. Every creak of the old building, every gust of wind against the glass, sounded like footsteps, like someone trying the doorknob. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my imagination running wild. The whisper echoed in my head, over and over. I see you. A few days passed in a haze of anxiety. I was barely eating, barely sleeping. At work, my colleagues asked if I was okay. I felt completely isolated, trapped in a bubble of fear that no one else could see. The silence in my apartment was no longer peaceful. It was heavy, expectant. I started leaving the TV on, just for the noise, for the illusion of company. I avoided my phone as much as possible, my heart lurching every time it lit up with a notification. Then, one evening, it happened again. A new number this time. Another voice note. I knew I shouldn't, but I had to. It was like picking at a wound. I needed to know. I held the phone to my ear, my breath caught in my throat. The whisper was back, but it was different. It wasn't just words anymore. It was describing my apartment. The blue sofa. The cracked coffee mug. The book left open on the table. Panic seized me, cold and sharp. I stumbled back, my eyes wide, scanning the room. Everything was exactly as the voice had described. The half-read novel on the small table by the armchair. This wasn't a prank anymore. This wasn't a wrong number. Someone was watching me. They weren't here. Or they had been. The air grew thick, suffocating. I felt a presence in the room with me, an invisible entity lurking just beyond my field of vision. I couldn't breathe. My chest was tight, my thoughts racing. Where are you? Who are you? I wanted to scream, but no sound would come out. My own home, my sanctuary, had become a cage. I ripped the curtains open, looked out the window, searched every corner of my tiny apartment, my heart pounding in my ears. The wardrobe, under the bed, the bathroom, nothing. I was alone. But I knew with a certainty that terrified me to my very core that I wasn't. The voice was real. That night, I didn't even try to sleep. I sat on the floor in the corner of my living room, with my back against the wall, my knees pulled up to my chest, just watching the door. My phone lay on the floor across the room, face down. I was too afraid to touch it, but I was also too afraid to be without it. What if it buzzed again? What would it say next? The minutes stretched into hours, each one a small eternity of suspense. The city's hum returned, but it offered no comfort. It just felt like white noise, masking the sound of whatever was hunting me. Just as the first hint of dawn began to gray the sky, the phone buzzed. It was a short, sharp vibration that made me jump. I stared at it, frozen. After what felt like an eternity, I crawled towards it. My hands were slick with sweat. Another voice note, from another new number. I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the screen. A part of me screamed not to listen, to snatch the phone and run, but another, more morbid part, had to know. I pressed play. There was a long silence first. Then, a new sound. Not the whisper. It was a soft, rhythmic clicking. A sound I knew all too well. It was the sound of me right now typing a message on my laptop, the one I had been using to document all of this. Then, the whisper came, layered over the clicking, so close it felt like it was breathing on my neck. I know you can hear me. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Then another sound started, faint at first, but growing louder, a scratching sound, like fingernails dragging slowly, deliberately, across a wooden surface. It wasn't coming from the phone. It was coming from inside my apartment. It was coming from the other side of my bedroom door.